Hello, Blackhawks Nation. Welcome to the Blackhawks Daily, your favorite recap of the daily buzz about your Chicago Blackhawks. I'm your host, PJ. Thank you for tuning in. Normally, it's really dry season, and it has been dry off season. I'm sorry, it's been a very dry off season. We've really been scraping the barrel to try to put together some salient points, keep the jonesing at bay right until the puck drops October 7th, at least until we can get into training camp to have a lot of things to talk about. Last week, we caught something awesome in regards to Frank Nazar getting that long-term deal, so that's great. We're going to dig into that a little bit today. But also, I had mentioned last week we're going to put a pause on the top 25 all-time Blackhawks players that's been listed out by Bleacher Nation. We are continuing that list today with 10 through 6, so we've cracked the top 10. So let's get into it. Let's get into the top 4 topics of today. So the train continues, as I just mentioned, Bleacher Nation's top 25 Blackhawks of all time. Tab Bamford put together quite the list, and so far, very enjoyable. Some you can argue here and there, but pretty solid. So many, but when you think about it, so many fantastic players to cram into one small list, it's hard. So let's see who we got cracking the top 10. So here's numbers 10 through 6. Number 10, as you know, if you've been watching this channel at all, you know this is a close one to my own heart. Steve Larmer, 1982 to 83 Calder Trophy, 1982 to 83 NHL All-Rookie. In his Blackhawks career, he had 891 games, 406 goals, 517 assists, 923 points, 49 game-winning goals. So it shouldn't surprise you that Larmer ranks high on my list. Obviously, could be ranked even higher, but he deserves it. He ranks in the franchise's all-time top 10 in goals at number 4, in assists at number 7, in points at number 5, even strength goals at number 7, power play goals as first, shorthanded goals tied for 4th, and game-winning goals 5th. Whew. Homeboy put together some offensive production. Larmer appeared in 884 consecutive regular season games for the Blackhawks, and the Blackhawks made the playoffs every season in which he played for the franchise. So let's get him some skates, put him back in, and we'll be in the playoffs again this year. So seems easy to me. Larmer absolutely should be in the Hockey Hall of Fame. His number 28 should be retired and in the rafters at UC. That's my take on that. Number 9, Pierre Pilote, Hockey Hall of Fame inductee. Number 3, retired, and correctly retired. 1961 Stanley Cup champion. He was a captain for 7 consecutive seasons from 1961 through 1968. He's a 3-time Norris Trophy winner, 63, 64, and 65, 8-time All-Star, 5-time All-NHL. In his Blackhawks career, 821 games, 77 goals, 400 assists, 477 points, 1,211 penalty minutes. Only 9 defensive men have won the Norris Trophy at least 3 times, and when Pilote did it, Doug Harvey was the standard at the position with 7. Pilote broke his run. He was the captain for the team for most of the 1960s and was a key member of the 61 Stanley Cup championship team. If you're creating an all-1960s roster for the NHL, Pilote is in the conversation to be one of the starting defensemen with Harvey and Bobby Orr, for sure. Number 8. This one, I don't know. Duncan Keith. I actually, my heart says put him lower, like put him towards the top. But anyway, Duncan Keith, top 10 for sure. Hockey Hall of Fame inductee this year. 3-time Stanley Cup champion, 2010, 2013, 2015. 2015 Conn Smythe. 2-time Norris Trophy winner in 2010 and 2014. Also in those years of 2010, 2014, Winter Gold Olympics medal winner. 4-time All-Star, 2-time NHL. Blackhawks career, 1,192 games, 105 goals, 520 assists, 625 points, 30 power play goals. The Blackhawks enjoyed 2 decades of the best goaltending in the NHL. The Blackhawks have also boasted some of the greatest defensemen in league history. It's incredibly hard to rank Keith and Pierre Pilote against each other, but I'm giving Keith the nod here because of the 3 championships and the number of games that he's played. Keith was a warrior who played heavy minutes and who was very physical and contributed in all situations. He'll enter the Hockey Hall of Fame this year. Well deserved. Number 7, Glenn Hall, goalie, Hockey Hall of Fame inductee. Number 1, retired, 1961, Stanley Cup champion, 2-time Vezina trophy winner, and 63 as 67. 8-time All-Star, 5-time All-NHL, 5 top 5 Hart Trophy finishes. Blackhawks career, he played in 618 games with a record of .276, .229, and .107. He's got a .916 save percentage and a 2.6 goals against average with 51 shutouts. So how good is Esposito? How much did he mean to Chicago Blackhawks? We have him ranked ahead of Mr. Goalie on our list. So Mr. Goalie, Hall, was magnificent for the Blackhawks during his 10 years with the franchise. He was acquired from Detroit with Ted Lindsay in a 6-player deal on January 23rd of 1957. And Hall went on to dominate for a decade. Between 1957 and 1958 and the 1966-1967 seasons, his 10 seasons with the Hawks, Hall appeared in 151 more games than any other goaltender in the NHL. His 276 wins are 45 more than Jacques Plante, and for the most in the NHL, and he led the entire NHL with 51 shutouts during that time, 14 more than any other goalie. Number 6, just mentioned him, Tony Esposito, Hockey Hall of Fame inductee, number 35 retired, 3-time Vezina Trophy winner in 70, 72, and 74, a 6-time All-Star in his Blackhawks career, 873 games with a .418, .302, .148 record. He's got a .906 save percentage and a 2.93 goals against average with 74 shutouts. Tony O holds most of the all-time records for Blackhawks goaltenders. He was arguably the greatest goaltender in the league during the 70s, and between 1970 to 71 and the 1979 to 1980 seasons, Esposito led all NHL goaltenders with 304 wins, 406 more than Ken Dryden, who ranked second. He also posted 10 more shutouts than any other goaltender in the NHL during that time period. Dryden had 46. Espo was also more durable. He appeared in 89 more games than any other NHL netminder during that period. Woo! All right, so that is ranks 10 through 6. Top 5 for tomorrow. Gonna be interesting. Well, let's see what happens. All right, moving on from there, let's talk about Mr. Frank Nazar. So the Chicago Blackhawks just handed Frank Nazar a massive contract extension. 7 years, $46.13 million, and the kid's only played 56 NHL games. At 21 years old, Nazar is now locked in through the 2032-33 season. Whether this move is bold or premature just depends on how you want to spin it. Sure, he ended the 24-25 season on a high note. He had 5 goals and 4 assists in April, including a 3-game goal streak, and he's a former first rounder with big upside. But here's the reality. He still just got 27 career points and isn't exactly built like a traditional NHL center. This is a swing, no doubt, and we'll have to wait to see if it connects or if it whiffs. Now, this isn't the first time a team has rolled the dice like this. Chicago's not breaking new ground here. Just look at the Minnesota Wild. Back in 2021, they gave Kirill Kaprizov a 5-year, $45 million deal after just 55 games. And that gamble paid off in a big way. 3 All-Star nods, 3 40-goal seasons. The guy became a superstar. But the comparison only goes so far. So there's a couple of key differences between what the Wild did and what the Blackhawks are doing. For one, Chicago benefits from a rising salary cap. A $6 million AAV today isn't nearly as risky as it would have been in 2021. If Nazar doesn't pan out, it's not a cap killer. And if he does break out, well, then you got a top-tier player on a great value contract. Kaprizov, though, gave the Wild immediate results. He won a Calder Trophy in 21 with 27 goals and 24 assists, a clear 50-point player from the jump. Meanwhile, the Hawks are betting that Nazar will more than double, maybe triple his 12 goals and 14 assists from last season. That's a big projection. The Wild have a lot more proof before handling Kaprizov the bag. So, he kind of showed what he had to offer. There's also structural difference. The Hawks got Nazar on a 7-year deal, which brought his cap hit down. The Wild only got Kaprizov to sign for 5, which bumped his AAV up to $9 million. So, and now they're struggling to re-sign him before he hits free agency next summer. Bottom line, Chicago's banking on Nazar becoming their version of Kaprizov. If he hits that ceiling, it's a home run deal. If not, they may have paid big for a 25 to 30 point player. Time's going to tell us if this is a genius move or an overreach. So what do you guys think? Personally, I love it, right? I like Nazar. He's got so much spunk. He's got so much energy, and I think he just brings it when he's on the ice. And now that he's got this contract behind him, I think it's going to give him a little chip on the shoulder or on his shoulder to really kind of push it. So I'm expecting big things from him. I'm really happy for him. So we'll see how it pans out. And third topic, the Blackhawks have too many NHL caliber defensemen, and that's a good problem. It is a good problem, right? It's an embarrassment of riches, as we've talked about. The Chicago Blackhawks have a bit of a logjam on defense heading into next season. They've got too many guys who deserve a serious look in the NHL, and while that's a problem, it's a problem you kind of want to have. So the reality is someone's going to get moved. When you break down the current group of 9 defensemen who can make the roster, the most obvious trade candidate is veteran Connor Murphy. He's the only one in the bunch with real NHL mileage, and his cap hit could be moved to open up a spot. But even if Murphy's dealt, that still leaves too many young blue liners. Someone else is going to have to go, or they're just wasting away in the AHL, or stuck bouncing between Rockford and Chicago. There are a few players that you can assume are staying put. Alex Vlasic, Sam Renzel, Artyom Levshinov aren't going anywhere. Beyond that, it gets a lot murkier. Kevin Korchinski, Nolan Allen, Ethan Del Mastro, Wyatt Kaiser, and Louis Crevier are still fighting for permanent spots, and not everyone can win that battle. And still, we even haven't signed Wyatt Kaiser yet. So there we go. The one that I've got my eye on is Louis Crevier. He's likely slotted in as a 7th defenseman, and honestly, that makes sense. His ceiling is lower than the rest of the group, but he's also taking up an NHL roster spot that could be used to develop someone with more upside. So he's not going to bring back a haul in a trade, but even a mid to late round pick would be better than just letting him sit idle. Crevier just signed a 2-year extension at $900,000 AAV, and he'll still be an RFA when that deal is up. Last season, he played 32 games with 3 goals and 4 points while averaging 17 minutes a night. At 24, he's the same age as Vlasic and older than all the other young defensemen in this mix. So who could come calling for a depth defenseman like Crevier? Well, there's 3 teams that make sense. Dallas Stars. Dallas doesn't have a lot of cap space, but they've got enough to swap out someone like Alex Petrovic for Crevier. Petrovic is 9 years older, barely played last season. Crevier gives them a younger, more experienced at this point option who can step in and hold the line if needed. There's still question marks around Nils Lundqvist. On the third pair, his health and his play. And if Crevier can slot in as a safe, steady 7th guy, all right, not flashy, but reliable. Dallas can't afford to have holes, especially on the right side. The Avalanche also could be someone. Technically, they have a full decor, but no one hits the IR more than the Avs blue line. Josh Manson missed 34 games. Sam Girard missed 9. Devin Taves and Sam Malinsky missed 6 each. Even Cale Makar, in his healthiest season yet, still missed 2. They'll need someone who can jump in without much of a drop-off, and Crevier kind of fits that mold. He's big, he's simple, he won't hurt you defensively. Tampa Bay as number 3. Tampa Bay has its top 6 defensemen set, but the 7th spot's kind of wide open. Right now, they're looking at guys like Maxwell Crozier, Declan, Carlisle, and Stam Santini, none of whom have played more than 5 NHL games last season. That's not very inspiring. Tampa's blue line depth took a hit last year with only Ryan McDonough playing 80-plus games. J.J. Moser only played 54. They'll need bodies who can step in and survive meaningful minutes. And Crevier is a low-cost insurance policy who fits the way that they play. So if the Blackhawks want to clear space for their higher upside young defensemen to develop at the NHL level, Crevier feels like the most logical piece to move. He's solid, he's cost-controlled, and he could hold value for a contender looking to shore up depth. Don't expect fireworks, but don't be surprised if he's in a different sweater by opening night either. So definitely someone to watch, right? Definitely someone to watch. And finally, we got some hot takes really fast. We got a couple of repeat offenders. We got Tom Filipiak, 3511. He says, Nazar, this is great. He seems like he's got it. And lots of hope, right? Tom, totally agree with you. For whatever reason, as soon as I saw that we signed him to a long-term deal, I was excited. So heck yeah, hell yeah. Let's go. Let's get Nazar. We got Bedard. Bedard's going to sign eventually. Everyone wants him to be there. I think Bedard's just smartly waiting to see how this season goes, because if he does really, really well this season, his contract's going to be friggin' nuts. Just huge. And then Ernest Dyson, 7979, also another repeat offender. He said a projected top line of Bedard, Donato, and Teravainen puts things in perspective about where this team is at. I think Bedard will be better. I don't think Donato can repeat last season's success. Teravainen's best years are behind him, and the best years weren't that great. Well, this is the fun thing about hockey. All kinds of tinkering you can do with these lines. So I guarantee you, Mr. Ernest, that sometime this year, this line of Bedard, Donato, Teravainen is going to be out there at some point, for sure. I can absolutely see that. So we'll see how it plays out. But thank you again, as always, to both of you, both Ernest and Tom. Thank you for your input. Really expect it. So that's a wrap for today, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for continuing to like and subscribe and follow and share about the channel. Woo! We're in the home stretch, right? It's been a rough summer. But I feel the excitement building. I feel it building. So thank you so much for being a part of this with me as we jump into the centennial season for the Blackhawks. We jump into just uplifting and celebrating this fantastic team and the best city in the country and arguably in the world. So thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Sincerely, I appreciate it. That does it for today. I am PJ. See you next time on the Blackhawks Daily.